best, but it's alive. It's not dead for sure. I have this program right here, and obviously it is not very happy. I have this entire leaf fell and it just keep falling, and there is only like these two left. And so something about me is that we live in Japan, and I used to grow this incredible, amazing moringa in Phoenix, Arizona. But now that I live in the cold, place, well, it's getting warm right now, but I planted this in April from like a seed, and then I remove all the shell, and then I basically soak into the water and plant it in, just like I used to do in Phoenix. And it did grow, but the germination rate was like literally like 30%. It wasn't even funny. Like I bought a whole bunch of moringa, and the moringa seed, I feel like in Japan is a bit expensive. I bought them on Amazon, and I knew it's not gonna thrive well in Tokyo. Somebody already told me it's too cold, but I mean, I didn't expect the germination rate to be like 30%. And on top of that, we had such a cold winter, such a cold spring and early summer. Like in May and June, it was so cold. So out of 3 plants that I had, I think this is the only one somewhat alive. But it's not the happiest, it's not like amazing. So I've been, making a story over this moringa trees, and now I just planted this today, and because I thought maybe the soil wasn't doing, because it's like so dry. But moringa in Arizona loved very dry and it's super hot weather. So I planted, so it's just more moist, and the soil is much more moist. But somebody also said the moringa will kill the root. It will kill the root if it's too moist. So as I was planting it again into this one from a small container like this, I saw some crumbles of the roots, and I didn't look happy. But just I planted anyways, hoping that it's going to do some magic. But at this point, I can only wish that this is gonna, come back and then start having some shoots again, just like this one did. But there is a chance that it's just end of its life. So I don't know if you guys know any way to revive this moringa. Let me know, especially if you live in the cold weather, like, I don't know, New York or Oregon, somewhere that's not too warm. And if it's like Florida, Texas, Southern California, or Phoenix, I know they will grow really well, because I had amazing, 6-year-old moringa tree that grew so much. Like we were harvesting nonstop. I know that's not gonna happen in Tokyo, but I really want something maybe a little bit better than this. I mean, this is 2 months old, so I don't expect moringa to grow that fast, especially in the cold weather like Tokyo. But at least I want, I don't know, something. So if you know any idea, if you live in the cold weather, if you had a challenge growing moringa in cold weather and figured it out, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's growing super amazing, let me know what's the secret. And I feel like at this point I did everything I can do, and I even sent one of the other moringa transplant like this to my dad to see if he can grow it for me. I shared that with my short video, but I mean, he's never grown moringa. It's just the difference is that my moringa tree, I cannot plant it in the garden because I'm renting this house. And by the way, I just moved to Japan a year ago, and I used to live in like tiny apartment, and finally I'm in a house that has somewhat garden, like a small garden, but it's not even big enough to grow a tree. And obviously when I'm moving out, I have to dig out the moringa tree if ever grows big. And I just don't want to plant any tree into the backyard, so I can't grow my moringa in my backyard. So the only option right now is to grow in a tiny container like this, and then just like gradually make it bigger if they grow. But so that's why I sent one to my dad to see if he can grow in his farm. But as he has never grown moringa, I have no idea. Like I don't even think I don't even think he's like what's moringa? It's a thing. Like it's getting so popular in Japan. Like you can find moringa teas and moringa products a lot. Like especially like those moringa powder pills. It's so cool. Like you can find moringa products everywhere. But the moringa is not grown in Japan, right? So I basically like researched a lot, and there are a lot of moringa farmers are located in Okinawa or south of Japan, but there isn't any. There wasn't any in Tokyo area until I found something. So I just did a call, make a phone call, and I said, hey, can I come and take a look? And he was like, sure, you can come and take a look. So I might be visiting a moringa farm near Tokyo area, but it's not really near, but 2 hours from Tokyo. So, but it's like Kanto area, the area where the weather is, similar to Tokyo. So I'm actually looking forward to, visit his farm. But I mean, look at this. Like this, how curly it is. This did not happen. Can you guys see this? This did not happen when I was growing moringa in Phoenix. So I just really wish that this revive, and then like start living. I mean, poor thing. I would really love these guys to grow like it's in India or in their own native land or like Florida, because I know in hot and hot weather these guys thrive. So yeah, so if you could help me, any ideas, anything will be appreciated. What do you think about the soil? And what do you think by just looking at it? Or it could be just simply the weather is too cold and it hasn't picked up in here yet. We had the May and June was so cold in Japan. Like you cannot even believe how cold it was. Like it was like below 20 Celsius, which is really cold. Like last year when I moved to Japan, that time the weather was so hot and I was hopping Airbnb to find where I want to live in Tokyo. And I remember it was like excruciating hot. It was so bad. And I just moved from Phoenix to Japan. So I was like hoping, just give me something more comfortable. And turns out it was even hotter in Japan because of the humidity, Anyways, so yeah, the fall and summer in Tokyo 2026 was so cold. And I heard in Europe right now, there's so many people suffering with heat. And I can't even believe like it is not summer Japan at all. I think last 2-3 days it's starting to get warmer, but I would love my moringa to, thrive in a way that it can. So yeah, I would love to come back to updating my moringa, and if I'm ever gonna be successful growing this. And also I have another super cool, exciting updates that coming up. Well, I can actually tell, but there's more plan coming up. So I would love to start doing a more live video on the plans that I'm doing. I do not have any garden or any big garden like I used to do in Phoenix, Arizona. But here I am collaborating with gardeners who grow organic food, especially in Tokyo and surrounding area. And I am super excited to do some collab work. And the finally intentional, video I can make, not just the how to, grow food. Well, I like how to grow moringa video because I probably planted close to like 200 moringa seed by now and gave it and advised many people. So I feel like I really enjoy talking about this, but also my entire goal for my dream green villa was to talk about creating a community of home where, you know, people can come and start growing together, not just the food, as a humans, and perhaps even educate our children on some sustainable living, but not just the sustainable living, fun and joyful ways that we can find ourselves through gardening or touching soil or being in nature. So I have not had a chance to create that side of video since, you know, life, right? And I am not going to give that excuse anymore. That's why I moved to Japan. I mean, I did not make the easy choice. I did not have to come back to Japan. So, anyways, the moringa tree is like a pet for me, like a dog and cats. I don't know. I just have so much love for these plants. And having to have a giant moringa tree in my backyard growing from a tiny seed has provided us such a beautiful family memories, you know, growing moringas, eating together and whatnot. And I just really want that tree to be part of our daily life and part of our magic, you know, and beauty that happens under the tree. Like, for example, my kids loved having moringa tempura leaves, and on top of that, I love the tamarind soup. I think it's a Philippine. I think it's like South Asian dish, and one of my Filipino friends made this. I don't know the name of it. If you guys know, let me know. This like beef stew with moringa like in it, and I just really love that. And I tried to recreate it, and then it wasn't as good as my friends did it, but it was amazing. So I would like to talk about food, farm to table, and creating a community around growing, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm hoping to come back to this kind of the day is perfect. It is I think the Florida and New York is like 6:37, 6 something, and then Phoenix, wait, no, it's like 9 something, and Phoenix is like maybe like 6 something, is that right? 6 a.m. And I know that's the time where Phoenix is getting so hot that the gardeners can go out only like 5 to 6 in the morning and get gardening done and come into the house and start getting breakfast ready. So I kind of want to be in the live video around this time. I don't know wherever you guys are watching. Let me know where you are watching this live from. Maybe from India, maybe from, I don't know, Pakistan, maybe from Europe, maybe from America. It would be nice if somebody watching from Japan. Although then in that case I have to probably speak Japanese. But but I'm looking forward to hear where you guys are located, and we will I love connecting with you guys through plants. So thank you for joining, and I hope you have a splendid day. Have a good one. Bye.